Hey, happy Monday, everybody. I'll tell you what, I have been, I'm going to apologize in advance for any uh, how bad this stream might end up being. I literally, I was so busy this weekend, and welcome, by the way. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope your work week is starting out well. Mine is starting out hectic because yesterday I was so busy. I just didn't get a chance to prep this this live stream to have it ready so I could just kind of flow into it this morning. Things were just, not happening for me. So I apologize. I know I got the notices out last minute, all that kind of stuff. Again, I hope this live stream does well for you this morning. Chris, welcome. Appreciate you being here as always, my friend. Appreciate you. Hey, automatic beats in the house. Great to see you both as always. Yeah, I'm still having a little bit on the technical difficulty frame right here. I don't get it. I don't know. This thing is just I give up. I give up. I think I need another sip of coffee. Oh Lord. How's your work week going so far? Good, I hope. Like I said, I really do. Okay, I'm gonna try and settle in here. Woosa. Oh Lord. All right, it looks like everybody's doing good. Weekend was good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, my weekends, I'll tell you what, they are so damn busy. A lot of family things, and I got no complaints about that. I mean, I really don't. Yeah, what do we got here? Automatic Beast is saying Robinhood getting DK'd by the SEC finally. Oh, no kidding. I did not see that. Not that I'm a Robinhood fan. I don't use Robinhood or anything like that. My work, my children, they are at school. Yeah, there you go. I understand, my friend. I understand. All right. All right. We're going to get into the markets before we get into what I plan to use as the main piece of today's live stream. Listen, over the weekend, Brian from Tiny Crypto Blog put out a live stream, and where you can tell he kindly, oh my God, and no, there is nothing in the coffee. It is literally just coffee. Where he finally kind of wrapped his head, I think, around the um, quickly increasing national debt here in the United States, and how well, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think as you're watching, we're going to watch pieces of his video. And then we're going to transition over to an interview that Lena Petrova did. And, I've used a number of her videos to help and educate and get the word out. She did an interview with Andy Schectman, who is the owner of Miles Franklin Precious Metals. And they talk about a lot of things, in particular, why central banks are buying gold, why they're selling treasuries, and a lot of things. And again, I'm not trying to jump the proverbial gun here, but we're going to get to all of that, and I'm hoping to pull it all back together. But I think it's information that needs to get out there. So listen, by the way, if anybody is new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick that bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I go live or I put out a great video. And make sure you smash up that like button. I really appreciate that. And feel free, jump in the comments, ask questions, whatever you need to do. I appreciate that very much. And I'm glad to have everybody here today. But we'll start off with the markets as usual. So let me throw that up there. And of course, let's add the not financial advice to that. Hang on one second while I check that. Yeah, of course not. Why would that be there? Yeah, that would make sense. All right, so here we go. We got the latest numbers here, and it looks like Bitcoin making a little bit of a comeback here. And I'm sorry, I'm just checking. Oh, they got a Wells notice this morning. Well, good. Well, not good, but You know what I'm saying? And he's talking about Robinhood there. Maybe I should put something in the coffee, just saying. That's what I love about you, Automatic Beats. Yeah, I probably should. But we're gonna try and hold it with just a little bit of half and half, okay? Oh man. All right. Anyway, so Bitcoin's just over 64K. It was hovering in that 63K area this morning, and so slightly up so far. Ethereum still holding above the 3K mark at 31.23. That's looking good. Look at this. Binance tickling that $600 mark at 591.66. I like it. We've got Solana up 13.4% in the last 7 days, just over 5% of that in the last 24 hours. And yes, I got to come back and get SOL to the moon out of Automatic Beats. I knew that was coming. Appreciate that, as always. All right. So that's Sol is slowly working its way back. What else we got? XRP at 53 cents, up 5.5% in the last 7 days. Not bad. Doge, look at this, back up over 16 cents. That's crazy. Up almost 14% in the last week. Cardano, you know, I'm a Cardano fan, but I don't know. I need to, I don't know. Cardano still needs to take a bit of a knee to me, but pretty much steady in that 46 cent range. AVAX. Not bad, up over 12%, almost 12.5% in the last 7 days. And we're talking $38 for AVAX. Still not a bad buy for AVAX. Sheeb, who cares? Tron, I know, I'm sorry, guys. Tron is lost that 12-cent mark. It's close, 11.9 cents, but you know, Tron seems to have a home in that 10-11 cent range that it seems to continue to hover in. Cardano. Yes, yes. All right. Let's see. Keep going. Bcash. You know, I like Bcash for what it's meant to be. Up 5%, 473.07. Use that and save your damn Bitcoin. Link, love Link. Frankly, even though it's up almost 7%, that is a good buy for Link if you ask me. $14.91. Let's see. Matic looking good, even though it's up 5.3% in the last week. Still a great buy for Matic, in my opinion. I'll tell you what, Litecoin, you know, I like Litecoin again for what it's meant to be. I pay my VPN service every month with Litecoin. And matter of fact, if you're looking for a VPN, honestly, I'm doing more research into Deeper Network after these interviews that we did on the Matrix Money podcast with Deeper Not. So I don't know. I might be transitioning over to Deeper Network. I'll keep apprised on that. But for the time being, I'm still utilizing TorGuard for VPN. I love them, and I remain anonymous because I just use my crypto to pay. They don't want my information; they'll just take my crypto, and Litecoin is what I use. Let's see, Uniswap still looking pretty good given all the, you know, they're part of the SEC FUD that's going on. Let's see what else we got here. Hedera H bar, not bad. 7. Wow, up 7% today, 14% in the last 7 days, but still at about 11.5 cents. So great buy for Hedera. If you're looking to buy that and stake it, that's you know, not a bad price right there, if you're asking me. Chris is asking, do I use the Coinbase card? I have it. I don't use it on a consistent basis. It is not my preferred card, to be honest. My Deeper Air should be here in like 3 days. Yeah, congratulations for winning that. That's right. I forgot about that, Automatic Beats. You did win that in that interview. So that's awesome. I look forward to you telling us how that's working out. And yeah, I have the Coinbase card. I don't know. I actually use the Gemini credit card, so I get rewards back in Gemini with that particular credit card. That's the one I use the majority of the time. Hey, 100 Air, welcome. appreciate you being here. Appreciate you always. Glad to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope your work week is starting out well, sir. Let's keep clipping along here a little bit. Where else? Render looking pretty good. Look at this, up 30%. 30%. That's crazy. $9.98. Got to stop on the whiff. Up 29%, $3.42. Lots of green in that one. Filecoin, look at this, back up. It was in that $5 range, hovering around. It's up 7.5% in the last 7 days. Again, DPIM project, I think, going to do amazingly in this cycle. It's done good in previous cycles. So, it has a great use case. Immutable X, up 11%, 222 for Immutable X. Stellar, if you're into the Stellar thing, pretty steady. I mean, it's become a stable coin pretty much in that 11-cent range. The stable coin. Let's see. I had to watch Deepernaut's videos to understand how to set it up and use it. His videos are very good. You are correct. The videos that Deepernaut puts out are awesome. And if you guys have not already gone to watch the interviews we did with him, please go show the man some love. All links in the live stream and the video recording interview we did with him on the Matrix Money podcast. All the links to all of his stuff is in there. So, nice try. I ain't looking it up this time. Sorry. Anyway, okay. What else we got? I don't know. VeChain not looking bad, but down over 2.5%. Caspa, gotta look at Caspa. 11 cents, holding pretty steady in that range. Monero, I like Monero. Privacy coin is going to be huge. And again, for those who have done who watched the interview that Bajar and FF did on the Matrix Money podcast channel with Meta Ryuk, they were talking mostly about Decentraland. But if you noticed his latest tweets, he is talking a lot about privacy coins and about his investments in privacy coins. He's been getting some hate from the Monero community because he's been pretty much promoting Darrow and Pirate Chain. And quite frankly, as much as I like Monero, Darrow definitely great privacy coin, and same with Pirate Chain. To be quite frank, Pirate Chain's probably my favorite at this point, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Yes, AMB will melt faces. Let's see. I use it as my business card, training myself for an LLC. That's a great idea, Chris. Yeah. Doing the LLC thing. Great idea. And it's only been good experiences. I trust Coinbase the most, not more than Treasuries. I love it. All right, let's keep going a little bit more. We'll go down a little bit more here. What else we got? Thorchain, Rune, again, it seems to have found its bottom, up about 10% in the last 7 days, $5.43. Gala, part of the DCA portfolio, although that's coming to an end pretty soon, end of June. And then we're going to be swapping portfolios. I got some input. Matter of fact, I'll throw it out again. I've got some input from the crowd that was in the live chat on Crypto on the Rocks this past Friday about what we're going to do for the second half of 2024. I want to change it up. I want to, every 6 months, I want to change it up because, that we need to show you that, you can still choose, something good to DCA into and continue that $25 DCA. And over time, I want to be able to show you the ups and downs in those particular portfolios. So if you have a suggestion for starting in July, second half 2024, what I should focus on. So for example, it was pretty much what people in the last half of 2023, it was what you guys decided. I gave you a bunch of choices and you guys decided, and I took some input from people. to what to put on there, which is how LCX actually ended up in that particular portfolio. And then for the first half of 2024, we're going to be finishing it up here. I've been doing Web3, P2E. That's what you guys have been voting on. So anyway, if you got suggestions, throw them in the live chat, or if you're watching this on the replay, stick them in the comments. I'd appreciate that. All right, we're gonna get done with that because I want to get on with this live stream. So again, over the weekend, I was watching Brian from Tiny Crypto Blog, and link to his channel is in the description of this live stream. And everyone, wait, that's the wrong one, I think. Yep, wrong one. That's not the one I wanted. Hang on. It's tough finding the right one because they're both named the same. Hang on one second. See if I can't get the right one this time. Hang on. I think this is the right one here. Let's wait. No. Ah! Oh, the joys of live streaming. I'll tell you what. There we go. I got it right that time. All right, there we go. Anyway, he put out a live this weekend, and it really hit me. I like Brian. I think he has a very unique perspective on things, especially Bitcoin related. And it's nice to chat with him when I get the opportunity to do that, or when we are able to collab and put together a video or whatever. And always great when he joins on Crypto on the Rocks. So, but I came across this, and I wanted to highlight this because, here's a guy, in my opinion, who is well versed in this, who literally is listening to podcasts and into this every day, kind of like me. And to me, it's like all of a sudden the enormity of our national debt seemed to catch him. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this, if it couldn't take this intelligent a guy by surprise, potentially, and again, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but that's what I get from the video. I can't even imagine what it does to everybody else that who is just trying to get by, keep the roof over the head, food on the table, and try to survive in this super high inflation. And we ain't seen nothing yet with regard to that. Matter of fact, I was going to put in a new thing down here, like I have not financial advice, that said inflation is theft. That's it. That's inflation is theft. Robert Breedlove loves to say that. Anyway, and he's right. He's 1,000% right. Anyway, I can talk more talk. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just babble. Just checking the. Yeah, that's okay. These guys are chatting in the live chat. Go at it, man. We're gonna let Brian start off, and then I'm obviously gonna put my 2 Satoshis in there as we go. So let me bring Brian up full screen here and start this off.
Hey, it's Brian. I'm just going to jump into something that scared the absolute shit out of me the other day. So let's go into it. So this is a marking of all the federal debt that's been racked up by the U.S. federal government over the years. It starts back over in 1967. And we go back, we see it's been a slow growth. It reached a half $500 billion back in the early 70s. In the 80s, I remember in those days reading about how we had $300 billion deficits, $250 billion deficits, $150 billion deficits. Those were big numbers.
Back then they were. Now, please, we'd love to have that.
Due to government spending, kept growing very, very steadily in the 80s. In the 90s, we had same thing, a lot of growth, a lot of liquidity. And we even reached a point where the debt went down for a few quarters.
Believe it or not, that was Clinton.
When we get into the 2000s, different story.
Yeah, of course.
Here we are. We're in the 7 trillions. the 8 trillions, okay? The downturn of 2008 goes up significantly, goes up $2 trillion. Then we have the zero interest rate policy of the Federal Reserve, and the money spigots are just flowing. The government's borrowing like mad, it's spending like mad. We start the decade at just under 12 trillion and end the decade at almost double. And then we get to doomsday.
2020.
We had 2020.
Yeah.
Everything shut down. That went to 26 trillion.
Yeah.
From
We just
there,
printed.
to 2023,
well, we didn't get most of that. That went
26 to
overseas
31 and a half.
or two.
And this is what
Yeah.
I want
Friends
to
of
focus
friends.
on here. 2023, start at 31 trillion, go to 32 trillion, 33 trillion, 34 trillion. We are adding $1 trillion of debt every single quarter.
All right.
And
that's, and he's right. I mean, approximately every 90 days, adding $1 trillion of debt. We're just printing or borrowing money to service our debt at this point. Never mind obligations. Yes, exactly. Printer go burr. Exactly right. And again, I mean, I don't know if you take it from that particular video clip that I showed you, but I mean, he seems, again, a smart guy. He's into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. He understands, to a good degree, probably better than most, about the economic system and the U.S. Economic system, global economic system for that matter, and still seems to be a little bit caught by surprise with regard to, the debt. Oh, you watched it last night? Well, I'm glad. Appreciate you subscribing to him, Brian. Smart guy. I'm going to throw up the next one that I have for him. And because he talks about we're reaching he calls it the event horizon, which is basically the point of no return. And in the other video, we're going to watch clips of with Lena Petrova, the interview she did, Andy Schectman saying the same thing. We're basically getting to the point of no return. It's one of those, and well, I don't want to take away what he has to say, because I think it sounds funny the way he says it, but it's apt the way he says it. So anyway, here's Brian for the second half. Now I'm going to let it go for a couple of minutes here. I'll probably inject my 2 Satoshis as we go, but
we are spiking and reaching the event horizon. The whole thing coming out of this is that as more and more money rapidly is increased and put into circulation, the value of every single dollar currently in existence that's in your wallet, that's in your bank account, that candy bars, gasoline, houses, and stocks are priced in, become less and less valuable. They have less and less purchasing power.
And see, here's the thing, most people don't even realize that. And I mean, I get the why people don't realize it. And because, again, they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to get by. They're just trying to, live and afford what they're doing and maybe even maintain a lifestyle. Now, again, these people, and I say people in the government that control the money supply, the BIS, the central banks, the Fed, whatever, they know what's coming. They know what's coming. They're just trying to keep keep kicking that can as far as they can until things implode. And it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts, basically, is what it's going to come down to. So yeah. Anyway, let me bring Brian back up here so he can finish off or continue on with what he was saying.
Your wages have less and less purchasing power.
Amen.
Inflation is partly due to things like more demand, less supply. But a major, major, major factor in our lifetimes has been because so much money has been printed over the last 20 years.
And now you see what I
That
mean when I say I think it
their
even caught
dollars have
him
lost
off
purchasing
guard.
power. They've been devalued. And it's as simple as that. I'm not giving financial advice, as it says here. But if someone were to ask me, what would I pursue? I would say, get your wealth, your money, into whatever hard assets you can. Real estate, numismatics, digital assets, businesses that generate revenue, anything that can retain value, whatever it is. Because as long as it's something tangible and it's something that people will want, the price is going to go up and down. And in this case, the numbers are going to go up.
Okay, and he goes on a little bit right here, but and I'm gonna actually, you know what, I'm gonna end it there. But he continues on and he talks about the pain that's coming, and people aren't gonna really see it coming, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. You know, unfortunately, you know, we're I don't know, we're being deceived about the way things are going. They're the government in this case, trying to throw out inaccurate information with regard to GDP and what's going on with the printing. I mean, just by paying a little bit of attention, you know that the government can't stop spending. They control the printer, so they're literally printing to buy, fund whatever it is that they're buying and funding. I mean, wars. I mean, they're the companies, you name it. And I've done many live streams, some of which the links are in the description of this live stream, where you can go back and listen to me point them out. And I, again, in each of those live streams, I put links to everything to show you and verify the information that I'm putting out in these live streams. And the one I didn't include in there is how they utilize. They are our elected officials in the federal government sit there utilizing their knowledge of what's coming up, contracts, whatever it happens to be, to basically insider trade, and they're making millions doing it, and they're all doing it. All of them are doing it. All of them. And again, for those, I know I have a contingent of people from Massachusetts who are watching this. Elizabeth Warren finally has some contention. If you are sick of her, you know, I mean, she started out great advocating for the little guy. Now she's in the pocket of the banks. It just is the way it is. If you're looking to replace her, and I hope you are, look into John Deaton. Link to his Senate campaign website is in the description of all of my live streams, and they will be until Election Day. So if you're not familiar with him, if you are crypto friendly at all, you want that candidate in office. Anyone? Okay. We're going to stay off that because I'll get down a rabbit hole and I won't get on with what I got to get on here. Now, the key, I've got like 4 different ones queued up here. Now, let's see if I can find the right one. We're going to see. How about this one? Maybe. Bang. Let's see if I got the right one. No, of course I didn't. Again, joys of live stream. Sorry, guys. I'll get it right eventually. Find the right one here. They're all named the same, so it not easy. How about that one? Nope. Almost. I know which one it is now because process of elimination. All right, we're going to start here. Again, this is Lena Petrova, and she's interviewing Andy Schectman. And again, links to Lena Petrova's video, this particular interview, is in the description of this live stream. You should check out her channel. This lady is all over everything economics. Matter of fact, she just put a video out about pending bank failures. We may talk more about that on Wednesday, but right now, Definitely, you can check that out on her channel. And Andy Schectman's business and personal Twitter links are in the description of this live stream. So ex-boss got hit with insider trading. Yeah, well, there you go. Chris is saying his ex-boss got hit with insider trading. $1 million fine. Yeah, if you and I do the insider trade, hold on, let me sitting here going off. You and I insider trade, or we get a tip about something, we go to jail. We get fined. You know, but our elected officials can just make millions, and it's all cool. It's good because, hey, don't worry, I'm an elected official. I can do what I want. Anyway, okay, sorry, getting off on tangents. Here we go. We're gonna start this, put it full screen, and then I'll put in my 2 cents.
Been driven not by investors, but by central banks. Central banks are buying, they're increasing their gold reserves month after month. My understanding is that it's projected to continue this way. With China outpaced all central banks globally, it has been the largest buyer. So what is behind this unprecedented surge in central bank buying, and how is what we are facing now different from the previous crisis?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think what is behind this surge in accumulation of gold, really, you could lay it at the feet of the West and their weaponization of the dollar. And, you know, if we go back to...
And I just want to point out, that's something I've talked about many times in the past, how the U.S. utilizes the SWIFT system and the U.S. dollar to weaponize it against other countries who are trying to take part in utilizing the SWIFT system. And a couple of those live streams I've got links to in the description here. Go ahead and check those out. But he's 1,000% right. You know, we're basically the bullies on the block because we have the world reserve currency, and you think people aren't going to resent that. And he talks more about that in a minute. But to the point that the question she asked, why basically are these central banks buying gold? They're filling their gold reserves. I mean, gold's been money forever, and if you're interested in dollar cost averaging into gold, I have a link in the description below of this of the live stream here for Acre Gold. You can literally, for $50 a month, dollar cost average into gold and have it shipped straight to your house. So if you're interested in that, link in the description of this live stream. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to let him keep going. Let him keep going.
The previous crisis, 2008 and 9, really the central banks were just beginning to, or the gold market itself was just beginning to ramp up till it reached its peak in 2011. But it was a very, very different time in 2008. And for example, the Fed had a balance sheet in 2008 of, I don't know, $700 or $800 million, not the $9 trillion that we saw it get ramped up to here over the last few years. But I think what's really behind the accumulation of gold, there are a few things. Number one, in 2019, the Bank of International Settlements, which is the most powerful bank on the planet, the central banker's central bank, they reclassified gold as the world's only other tier 1 reserve asset. And you know, our media doesn't just do a poor job of telling us what's happening. They do no job. How many people really know that gold was reclassified tier 1? Since the end of World War.
You know, and that's how they you know, the global elites, in this case, the BIS, which is basically the central bank of central banks, is manipulating things, is maneuvering things, and basically they see what's going on with the US. The US are printing money and spending it like drunken sailors, and what's going to happen? The eventuality of it is that, you know, shit's going to collapse, shit's going to break. We're already out over our skis with regard to debt to GDP. So yeah, you can't maintain that. And history has shown that most countries that have tried, once they reach, I think it was 125% GDP, debt to GDP, it's a downhill slalom from there. And again, to Brian's point in the beginning of this live stream, Brian says, I mean, we're pretty much accumulating every quarter a new $1 trillion worth of debt. How can you even think that you can maintain that? You can't. You can't. The U.S. has become a debtor nation. Well, it's been a debtor nation for a while, I guess, because of this idea that debt is money. And there's a whole nother live stream I put together about that to try and help you understand. Link to that is in the description of this live stream. All right, let Mr. Schectman here keep going, and then we'll go on to the next piece.
Or two in Bretton Woods, there's been dollars and treasuries as tier one assets. And then there's gold. After 75 years nearly of it just being dollars and treasuries, why would the central bank, the most powerful bank on the planet, reclassify gold as tier one? And interestingly enough, if you go back 2 years before that to 2017, when nobody wanted any gold, when people just wanted Bitcoin and S&P 500 and buying Airbnbs to, real estate all over the country to turn into investment houses, no one was buying any gold. And in fact, in 2017, most of the sales that the industry was receiving were people selling, not buying. It was a very unusual time. But that's when the German Bundesbank made a very big deal about repatriating their gold from the New York Fed and the Bank of England. And within a few months of that happening, the Bank of Turkey, Hungary, Poland, the Czech National Bank, the Dutch National Bank, the Bank of Austria, all of these Eastern European banks said, yeah, we want our gold back too, by the way. And they said the same thing to the Bank of England. And in 2018, those same banks, most of which had been net sellers over the previous.
And to his point about all these central banks wanting their gold back, that's why Nixon closed the gold standard window. So these places because we were already printing more than we had in gold as a reserve when when the US dollar was still pegged to gold. So anyway, sorry, I'm going to let him wrap up here and then we're going to go on to the next part of what he is answering.
Previous several years bought more gold as a group than they did in the previous 60 years combined. In 2019, those numbers were almost up 100% by those same players. And then lo and behold, it must have just been a coincidence. The BIS said, oh, by the way, gold is now a tier one asset. Makes you wonder, were they told, get your house in order, repatriate your gold and start buying it? Here we go. And this has been a trend ever since that is accelerating. And yeah, as you were saying.
All right. You get the point. You get the point. It is accelerating. All these central banks are still buying gold. And that's not to count, you got to think about it. What reserves do they already have? They're not sitting on no gold. I guarantee you that. Hey, Sadie, welcome. Yes, all the cool people are here. You are correct. Appreciate you. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate you. Anyway, I'm already almost 40 minutes in here. So I apologize. This is going long. Let me get to the next section where now he just talked about the central banks around the world buying more gold. Now he's going to talk about and I'm hoping I get the right clip here. Yes, I did. All right, good. Now he's going to be talking about how they're selling U.S. Treasuries, because you heard him mention tier one assets, according to the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, control all these bankers. Basically, the U.S. dollar, tier one, that's a good thing. And now gold, tier one. Treasuries used to be the other tier one asset. And I think technically they still are. But as you know, the last Treasury sale we had, I mean, the Fed had to buy the lion's share of Treasuries because guess what? Nobody wants them. Hence, our rating has been downgraded here in the U.S. from, you know, whatever it was, AAA to AA or yada yada. Anyway, all right, let's bring him up here.
Status, right? So instead, part of the petrodollar deal was after you make these transactions, you take any excess and you funnel it into U.S. Treasuries. But what have we been told about all the central banks, like China, who's down to just over 750 billion? They were at 3 trillion in Treasuries not too long ago. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Russia, they're all selling or have sold their Treasuries, and they are buying gold instead of Treasuries, which has outperformed the bond market, has outperformed the S&P 500, has no counterparty risk, cannot be sanctioned, and I think is being remonetized across the globe. The world understands what gold truly is an asset.
Okay, does anybody know an asset that might also fit that criteria? I'll wait. Yeah, come on. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's bring him back up here.
Asset free from counterparty liability. So yes, I do believe that the supremacy is on the way out. It is not something that will happen immediately until it does. That's why I'm a fan of the phrase logarithmic decay. Little by little by little by little by little by little, then bang, all at once. Now we're not.
Did you catch that? Remember I mentioned death by 1,000 cuts. Well, there it is right there. Little by little by little by little. And you see all these things happening around the world. The petrodollar has basically collapsed. You got the rise of BRICS. You have BRICS talking about putting together their own currency. Trading around the world is now happening outside of the US dollar, especially for stuff like gold, especially for stuff like oil, which was not supposed to be the way it was. But we have people in this country, and honestly, he's going to mention it in a minute. But you know what? As a matter of fact, we're going to end that one, and I'm going to bring it up now. He's going to talk about something called the Clowrd-Piven theory, and to be honest with you, it strikes me as 100% possible and probably 100% true, because guess what? This country is being eroded from within. That is my humble opinion. You know, I am so humble, but eroded from within. Our elected officials are selling us out at every opportunity, and they're doing it at the benefit of themselves. Hence, the whole insider trading thing is just like one example of all the symptoms that are going on. Our elected officials no longer believe they work for us. They believe we work for them as tax slaves, because, you know, hence they want to increase taxation. I'm going to let him hit on this real quick, and then we'll close. We're going to start to close out. So hold on. Let me bring that up. And
you just can't make it up. And as a side note, I would really urge everyone to Google Clowrd-Piven theory. Clowrd-Piven theory. They were two professors who taught at Columbia University, and Jared Bernstein and Obama happened to go there amongst many other U.S. Dignitaries. Madeleine Albright, Bill Barr, Eric Holder. All of these people went there, and the whole theory is about destabilization of the country to overwhelm it through entitlements and to create a whole legion of people that will continue to vote for you, like the 12 million people we let in here illegally. So when you put them together, what's happened to the inside of this country and the mismanagement of the world reserve currency, the admission that, hey, we're going green. And by the way, if you don't align ideologically with us, we're going to take your money and give it to your foe that you're in a war with. Why would anyone want to buy any of our long maturity bonds, if anything at all? And I think that's really the point here. Is it can we pull out of it? Maybe, but not until we stop spending and we start saving, and we stop going around the world acting as a policeman that most of the world thinks, you know, is incredibly wholly hypocritical.
And he talks about being the world's policeman, and I look at it more like the world's bully at this point, basically. because of the way, again, we control the monetary system, we control, militaries, and that. Again, this country is being eroded from within, in my humble opinion. So what do we do? What do we do? And that's, I always try to bring it around. I know sometimes these topics are just not, happy topics, not conducive topics, but what can you and I do? What can we do? And, Brian gave some suggestions in the second part of the video we watched from him. And I think those are all very good suggestions. I think that we definitely need multiple streams of income in order to make sure if one thing gets cut off, we've got something else. And I think we need to find other ways to invest. And again, that's what I try to show. Crypto on the Rocks every Friday night, 7 p.m. Showing you how to dollar cost average into cryptocurrency as low as $25 a week. I mean, and this last piece we're gonna talk about, or actually a video piece I'm gonna show you. Andy Schectman talks about how his father taught him to pay himself first. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do on Friday nights. Pay yourself first, man. Take $25. I mean, even if you gotta, I don't know, give up your coffee. Believe me, I understand that's not necessarily a good thing. But whatever, to just start to go into assets. And in this case, I'm talking cryptocurrency, and that's going to maintain or increase your wealth. So let's listen to him talk about the paying yourself first idea. I mean, this is not news. It's not a new concept, nothing like that, obviously. But sometimes, you just need to kind of hear it. So let me bring that up. And
moral and social and all of these things. And as they relate to gold and silver, I often tell the story for people who haven't heard me before. When I started this company, I was barely 20 years old. And my father said to me, listen, I'm not going to let you make the same mistakes that I made. So every 2 weeks when we get paid, you will buy something, gold or silver, or I'll fire you. All right. Well, if that's the only rule, Dad, I can deal with that. Now, I've owned the company fairly much outright for the past 2 decades. I've been running it for longer than that. He won't fire me any longer, but I've honored my promise to him. And honestly, Lena, it was the best gift I've ever been given in my life. Truly. It was the gift of learning to pay myself first. It was the gift of learning how to let the laws of compounding work for me rather than against me.
amen.
And the things that are so important in life, often we don't learn until we're much further down the road. But I look back at what my father told me, demanded of me, and I've honored that promise to him. For 34 years, I have never missed a 2-week period ever in buying something. And so when I look at my gold and silver holdings, it is not an investment. It is wealth. It has been wealth through 2 world wars, German hyperinflation, the Great Depression, every pandemic, everything the world has ever thrown at it. And, here we are 5,000 years later, and it's still being accumulated now, maybe more so by the central banks, the most well-informed traders on the planet, more so than at any time in central bank history. So,
right.
I think the more things change, the more they stay the same. But the gift that I was given in learning how to try and find a way out of the rat race by paying myself first and letting compounding work for me instead of against me is the one thing I would like to convey to people here, that this is not an investment to me. You don't buy gold and silver to get wealthy. You buy it because it is wealth. And everything else that we talk about today, I hope will spring from that, at least the way that I look at this. Again, pay yourself first. It's the greatest gift I've ever been given. I hope people can take that away from this interview, because it's meant an awful lot to me.
All right. You get the proverbial point there about paying yourself first. And I can't say that to be honest, I can't say I've always done that. Have not. But I do try to do it now. Hence the whole, dollar cost averaging thing. Hey, Paperclip in the house. Welcome, Paperclip. Got 2 nephews into investing, working on my nieces. There you go. There you go, Sadie. That's what you got to do. I mean, and putting them into I'm looking at Brian from Tiny Crypto Blogs in the chat, and I just saw what he wrote, and I'm like, oops. Anyway, so yeah, we got to show it, and that's what I'm trying to show my grandchildren. You hear me talk about it all the time. And Brian, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And I spelled debt wrong, huh? Oops. Oh well. What am I gonna do? Duh. Anyway, and good morning to you, sir. Yes, appreciate that. Yes, mic drop. Yes, mic drop. Brian, thanks for being here. Hopefully you go back and watch from the beginning. You were the lead in on this particular live stream. So thank you for putting out what you put out the other day, because you want to know what? It's just unfortunate that people don't take the time to see it for what it is. And I guess they don't so much not take the time, but it's like, you're busy, you're in the middle of other stuff. It's like understandable why people would not be able to stay on top of these things. I get it. I completely get it. Yeah, sorry about spelling debt wrong. I'll go correct that later. Anyway, so where do we go from here? Again, let's kind of wrap this thing up a little bit. And there's links for like the Clowrd-Piven theory that he was talking about in the description of this live stream. So go ahead and check that out. Obviously, nationaldebtclock.org. You can go ahead and check, or usdebtclock.org. You can go ahead and check that out. And again, you need to be able to DCA. You need to be able to hold your wealth. And I prefer cryptocurrency. Hence the showing you those options on Friday Night Crypto on the Rocks, DCA, $25. That's why I take $15 into Bitcoin every week, because at this point, Bitcoin is leading the way. And then $10, you guys vote for what we're going to dollar cost average into. And every 6 months, the what changes. So you get the opportunity to build these portfolios. And again, my goal is you'll see they're up or down over time as the market moves up or down. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay. Hey, 100 Air. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. As always. Thank you, sir. Hope you have a great day. So that's the first piece. The second piece to me is the ability to live on cryptocurrency, because when, like he mentioned, it's a little bit, oh, by a little bit, and then a little bit, and then a little bit, and then suddenly, bam, everything's going to collapse. And it's going to catch so many people off guard. It's going to hurt so many people. And you're going to need something else. The link to my playlist about living on crypto in the description of this live stream. Check it out. I'm actually probably deviating from that a little bit this week. I need to do, I think, some other more foundational videos, or at least that's my plan this week. I have not completed it yet. Matter of fact, I'm planning to try and record them today. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, you get the idea about how to live on crypto, the best options I found so far for living on crypto. And it's all in that playlist from the first interview I did with Joel Valenzuela, who is living on crypto now for over a decade, to the most recent video I've done with regard to, I can't remember what the most recent one was. I think it was using Bit Refill. So go ahead and check those out. That's what I've got for you. I would really appreciate it. Again, I know if you're new here, appreciate you hitting that subscribe button, ticking that bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I'm live and every time I put out a great video. Appreciate that. Don't forget on your way out to smash up that like button. If you're on Facebook, because I can see I got a couple people on Facebook, appreciate you hitting that thumbs up. It really helps there as well. And Let's see, what do I got going on this week? Tomorrow, live on the Matrix Money podcast. Link to the Matrix Money podcast in this description as well. Make sure you're sharing this. Let's start trying to educate people. Like I told you in my last crypto advocacy video, live stream last week, education is step one, and getting the information out there as, just trying to like put it in people's heads is the first step. So anyway, what are we talking about tomorrow on Matrix Money Podcast? No clue. I haven't even touched base with the guys yet. I'm going to be doing that after I'm done coming live here. And then Wednesday, I'll be live 10 a.m. as usual here on the Crypto Coin Mindset YouTube channel and Facebook and Twitter. And then Thursday, if all goes well, I'll be dropping that educational video. I'm not going to give you any more info on that until I actually get it recorded and hopefully started at least editing it. And then Friday night, as always, 7 p.m. Eastern time for Crypto on the Rocks. Appreciate you guys joining in. Automatic Beats, thank you. Appreciate you saying a great stream. Sadie, appreciate you. Thank you very much for the kind words. And that's going to pretty much be it. So look, bottom line is you got to take the lead. You got to be able to take care of yourself, and then obviously educate to help others. That's why I'm here, man. That's why I keep putting this stuff out. I'm hoping it gets out there, and I'm hoping that people start to understand what's coming. I really, really do. Yes, paperclip. I'm wrapping it up. I'm sorry. We're at about an hour, so I'm wrapping it up. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, everybody, for being in the live chat. Paperclip, Sadie, Automatic Beats, Chris, 100 Air. Who am I missing? TCB, of course. And thank you for letting me utilize your live to help promote this live. I appreciate that very much. I think that's everybody. If I forgot anybody, I apologize, but I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you again. And I will see you tomorrow on the Matrix Money podcast at 10 a.m. I hope you have a great Monday. I hope you have a great start to your work week, and I will talk to you.